Okay, so Nathan wanted me to start recording before he came on. Oh, is here? Oh.
What do you think, Carl?
What am I looking at? I can't see from here. Oh, you've actually cut your hair. Take your headphones off. Oh, you know it's
No. Yeah, I got one of those movie star faces, mate. I can carry anything off.
What made you do that?
I just got bored of it. I kept waking up in the middle of the night, pulling my own hair out by rolling on it. It's it's annoying.
Yeah, it's quite freeing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, especially at the moment when it's starting to get hot again, and it's just I can't be f***ed with that shit.
Yeah,
boiling your tits off for no reason at all.
You've somehow got like short hair, but it still looks bushy. Like you've got a
Yeah,
good head of hair there, so it's annoying.
The thing is about my hair is weird. It's like it's not thick exactly. It's quite thin, but there's a lot of it. It's like really densely rooted, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like a really dense forest, whereas mine is like old withery trees, and there's not that many of them. They're all in a unified space, so they're covering the areas they should be. It's just they're a bit crap. They're withering a bit, you know.
Yeah. I know people who started balding when they were like in grammar school.
Yeah,
which was impressive. It's impressive when that happens. Like, wow, okay, that's
that is more impressive than anything. I get you there. But it was always in my school. To be fair, it was more people seeming to grow beards really early for some reason.
Yeah, I hated that. I really wanted a decent beard for ages. I barely got a decent beard now, if I'm honest.
I was going to say, I still do. I still want to.
Yeah, how was your birthday, by the way? Happy fucking birthday. I didn't get to say it in person, man. Happy fucking birthday. How are you doing?
Thank you. It was very good. Thank you. I mean, no one got to say it in person, really.
Well, yeah.
Have to come back, you know.
Yeah.
It was good. The quiz was good. Other stuff was good.
Yeah.
I got pictures of bums from an attractive person I'm talking to as a present. That was
cool. Yeah, that is a good kind of present. That is
one of the better presents you want.
Oh, hell yeah.
Marijuana. Bums and marijuana. That was my present.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, what more could you ask for on a 30th birthday?
Not much. I mean, that's like sex, drugs. All you need is the rock and roll, and you're sorted, mate.
Yeah, social distance, sex, and drugs. There you go.
Yeah.
How's your week been?
There's been a lot of recording going on. I've got, I think, 2 sketches to go and a rap song to go in the next sketch show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to hearing that.
Yeah. I've got a rough version of it already, but I need to get the finalized version out there. And I'm using the Chaosilator pad to make the music, and sort of annoyingly, but that's fine. And this week's this week's.
Bear with me 1 second. I need some kitchen roll because I've just spilled stuff all along here. It's dripping down onto the stuff.
Oh no!
1 second.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a little story time. So, once upon a time, there was this weasel, and he lived in a forest all alone, right? And the one thing the weasel always wanted was to have some weasel friends. But you all right, Carl? Just doing story time for the people at home.
It was making me sad when I heard about the weasel.
Yeah, don't worry, man. It's gonna have a good ending, right?
Okay. So, oh shit! Wait.
Yeah.
So you need to carry it on. My illegal florist is calling me now. I'm going to quickly have to nip money to the door.
Oh shit! Go for it. Go for it, my friend.
1 sec.
Yeah. So as I was saying, the tiny little weasel went along his way, and eventually he came across a stream. Now, when he came across the stream, he said, "Excuse me, Mr. Fish, do you know where I can find some friends?" And the fish said, "Fuck off, you weasel cunt. I fucking hate your kind." It was a very racist fish. So the weasel thought nothing of it, and he went along his way. Fuck that guy, the weasel thought. Fuck him in his fucking stupid gills. So, the weasel keeps on wandering on his weasel way. When he eventually he comes across a chasm. And across this giant chasm, there's flying an eagle. And he says to the eagle, "Excuse me, Mr. Eagle, could you tell me where I can find some friends?" And the eagle looked down on the weasel and said, "You better be careful, little weasel, or I'll eat you whole, you fucking little cunt." It was a very, very unpleasant eagle. And the weasel thought nothing of it. He went along his way. But then eventually, the weasel came to a bush, a big, thick, brambly bush that he didn't think he would be able to get through. And he said, "Excuse me, is anyone in there?" "Hello?" said the little weasel. And then suddenly, the little weasel heard lovely little noises of all the little forest friends and the scurrying about of tiny little creatures. And then eventually, he got eaten by a fox. It wasn't as a happy ending as I thought. I don't even know if this is going to stay in the edit. I mean, it shouldn't really. It was shit.
Hello, Internet. Now please, hold on to your butt. As two comedians attempt to talk about serious subjects in a not-so-serious manner. From the mysterious to the utterly vicious, everything is fair game. This is the Kill Them With Comedy podcast, featuring true crime, amazing events, conspiracies, unsolved mysteries, and an array of weird and wonderful topics, all for your enjoyment. You're welcome.
And that proves that even people that you would trust with your life can, at some point, go fucking crazy.
Would have been funnier if he'd gotten run over by a car.
Okay, now
You alright?
Oh, sorry about that, my friend.
You alright, Carl?
Alright, man. How did the weasel go?
Oh, he died. He got eaten by a fox.
Oh.
But he wasn't sad anymore, Carl, and that's the important part.
Oh, he was happy when he died.
Well, he wasn't happy when he died, but he's definitely not happy. Well, he's definitely not sad once he's died.
He was happy up until the point of, "Oh, I'm dying."
I don't think he was even happy then. But the point is, he wasn't sad anymore.
Okay. That's what's important.
And that's the moral of the story. Yeah, you may want to cut that bit out. It was entirely fucking strange.
I'll see, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. But what have you been doing this week then, man? How's your week been? You done anything interesting?
It's not too bad most of the time, but it's just that occasionally people will have these fucking weird things they want to move. It's like one person wanted to, and it was actually, it was fine and all that, but she wanted to move a mangle. You know what a mangle is?
The thing that they
It's
put
like
the
an old
clothes
way.
through to dry 'em.
Yeah, the old way of drying clothes, where you push it through and it pushes the water out. Well, she was bringing one of those, and it was just like either cast iron or steel, and about like 4 foot tall, and fucking heavy. That was fun.
I agree. Leather as well. Leather's a weird thing that people get for settees.
Oh, I love leather. I love leather, though.
You love weather.
I love weather. I'm already. I did. I am already well on the way, but I loved weathered leather.
Oh.
Yeah.
What I used to find with leather is it's just sit down, get a cold ass. You can't do anything on leather. Like, you jump on other things and it's cool. Jump on leather. Oh, it's cold.
Yeah, to be fair, I just like leather because I like leather jackets. I always wear leather jackets.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you sit on leather in leather, it makes the squeaky sounds and all that kind of shit. And, like, it's like you own the place. You know what I'm saying? It's like everyone listen to me as I sit down.
You just want a vegan to walk into that moment as well. So you can look at them and they can feel the power.
Yeah. Look at it. It is dead animal I drape myself in.
You know, if you're like a real stern, you know, like proper believer in veganism and all that, then you must look at like, you know, people in leather jackets or, I don't know, fur stuff or anything like that and think they're terrible people.
Oh, they must do, yeah. And that's fine.
Like us seeing Jimmy Saviles everywhere, you know.
Yeah. Basically, that's what they put them on the level to. It's like, oh yeah, no, you're a murderer. You're a this. You're that. It's like, come on, no, I'm not a murderer for eating something that isn't a human being. For fuck's sake, Jesus Christ!
In their eyes, you might be.
Yeah.
Imagine that, just seeing everyone like that.
You're right.
Yeah, I got like some phlegm stuff stuck in my throat then. That was weird.
Bloody hell.
I'm testing out a new, just put a new coil in, so it's the first couple of drags, so it's a bit weird.
Yeah. They always say leave it to soak for a bit. It's like the point is that I want to have it now. You do understand that?
I don't mind doing that. It used to really annoy me, but I try to do it a bit ahead of time, you know, like when I go for a spliff or something. I mean, when I go for a legal cigarette.
When I go for a herbal remedy.
Yeah. We live in the UK, remember? So when we do that, I forgot my train of thought now because of the legal cigarette, probably.
Yeah, you can sort of set yourself up a little bit of juice in the vape and then go for the smoke and come back to the vape.
Did you ever have a
used
dripper?
To do the same thing. I never bothered with the dripper. It's just fuck that stuff. People are like, oh yeah, you can make your own coils and stuff as well, and you dripper. Fuck off.
Yeah, I never got that far. So why?
Yeah, I don't need to go to that length. Like they're like, oh, but it's better. You can get a bigger vape out of it. I don't need a bigger vape. It's fine the way it is. Is it giving me nicotine? Then yes, great, excellent.
Yeah. I do enjoy the big amount, like the big cloud you get from it. I get it, it's fun, but you don't need it all the time. It's obnoxious all the time.
Yeah, and it makes you look like you're trying, if you know what I mean.
Like you're driving
around. I never want to look like I'm trying.
Compensating.
Yeah.
Like driving around in a big car, you know, you've got a tiny hand, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I remember what I was going to say earlier.
Yeah.
I remember what I was going to say earlier, and the only reason I want to say it is because I'm enjoying it so much. Is in the new episode I'm working on. It's a spoof of Alice in Wonderland, except it's all in Australia. And I've got a caterpillar that's like a QAnoner, and it's my favourite character I've made in ages.
Go on.
It's like you know the caterpillar from the original Disney thing?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that who are you? Like that, you know.
Yeah.
It's like that, but it's like that, but it's an Australian who spent way too much time smoking weed. You know what I mean? Because I love weed. It's great, but at the same time, we've all seen people who've smoked a bit too much.
Oh yeah. Different ends of it. If I smoke too much on a night, I smoke too much in your lifetime. Like
too much in the lifetime is hard to come back from, and you can see those people from a mile off.
Yeah, it's probably just more their naturalness, and we just look at it and think it's bud. To be fair,
yeah, probably, yeah.
Because in all fairness, we are going to be talking about a few of them in my story today, Nathan, and they might like to say it's something to do with bud, but no, it's just a stupidity again. The stupidity must run rife with these people since birth. Because I don't get it. I don't get it, man. Well, actually, I can take that back on this one. I kind of do. I get it a bit.
Okay.
I've been going.
So this is fascinating. I'm already interested. What's going on with your story, bruh?
Would you like me to go first? Then I can do that.
It's up to you, bro. It's up to you. But if you want to,
I'll do that. Why not? I'm interested in your opinion of it as well. I was one of them. I don't remember ever asking you about this either. Was the moon landing a hoax?
Oh, okay.
Oh, did we ever go to the moon? So it's 1969, Apollo 11, I believe. It was Kennedy who said he wanted the space race. I haven't written this down. It was Kennedy, I believe, who said he wanted the space race things done by the end of the decade. And Nixon was in power, I think, when this actually. I'm pretty sure Nixon was in power at the time when they actually got
I think so. That's right. Because there's the famous footage of Nixon outside the decompression chamber.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I don't really know. Like, this is one of those ones again where it's like I say it, everyone gets what it is straight away. You don't know where to start with it.
Yeah, it's always one I've sort of never really gelled with myself, if I'm honest.
In what way? Yeah,
it's
just like your opinions of that.
Like for me, I think either it did happen, or if it was faked at all, the first one was faked only. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd put money on it of having happened.
Yeah. You know what? Even today, when I watched a documentary on it today, just to get a bit more info on it. And I completely get why people go back and forth on it. Like, I was doing it a bit myself today because a lot of the evidence is like, well, obviously they went, but then you see some stuff and it's like, I don't know. I get it. Okay. I mean, so the reason why I mentioned Nixon, for example, is because you can see in the sense of why people say, well, the government that was in power at the time wasn't a very trustworthy government.
Yeah, Watergate and shit like that.
Yeah. And also the head of NASA, Werner von Braun. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, Werner von Braun was ex-Nazi, was he?
Ex-Nazi, yeah. He was during the Nazi times.
He developed the V2 rocket.
That makes sense with what I was about to say as well. Then he was all I know is he was working in a rocket factory, and they used to take I don't know if it's every week or month. I'll say month, just to give them the benefit of the doubt out of the two. Doesn't really matter, because every month they would take like the 5 least working Jews and kill them in the front, hang them, and leave them out there for everyone else. Yeah,
he was a piece of shit.
Yeah, and this was the guy with all Operation Paperclip and all that who was running NASA, which is weird.
Well, the problem was that the Nazis were the best scientists out there for rockets, and if they didn't pull them up, the Russians would, basically.
Yeah. But it's at the same time, I get using them as a beautiful word, I guess, an advisor rather than the head of the whole place.
Yeah.
That's a bit the head.
Yeah, it's just like you don't need him to be there, looking down on everyone and sort of telling people, whether they're allowed to work there or not, because he's a Nazi. Yeah.
Yeah, just everything you can think of that his job would be there, everything he would be in power of, he shouldn't do because, as you said, Nazi.
Fucking Nazi. Yeah.
It applies to all.
Yeah.
But like with this stuff though, again, like you remember that Nixon and that, I get why people would question those two. And this is one of those rare conspiracies where there actually is a reasonable answer to the question why. Why would they do that?
Yeah.
Because like the whole space race with the Russians.
Yeah, superiority over Russians and making it look like they had better technology and, a more advanced capability to launch intercontinental ballistic missiles and things like that.
It was like I suppose it was even put it like that actually. I never thought of it like that. It's like another deterrent to war essentially as well.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a dick measuring contest of, look, we can hit you no matter where you are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Which makes a lot more sense, because when I was looking at it before, I was thinking like it's a weird thing for them to both be focusing on, but it makes more sense when you put it through that scope. It makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, and it all becomes about superiority and what's the ultimate goal that you can show with your rocketry capability. Get to the fucking moon.
Yeah. You know? Fucking move over. Here comes Elon Musk. Fucking...
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me, I'd like to go to Mars.
But see, that's why, you know, I can understand why people say it's faked. You know, why do they question of it there? And in the sense of they would do it, you know, just to just make themselves look better if they realised they couldn't get there in that time and they just wanted to fake it. And if they did a good job of it.
Yeah, but that's the thing for me, is like I get why people would have that idea, and I understand that, you know, there's various amounts of things that people can point at that is evidence, but like there's been so many scientific explanations for the reasons why. It's like, oh, you can't see any stars. Yes, well, technically that's because the camera is designed for bright sunshine, and stars don't show up in that kind of camera.
Yeah, well, I mean, looking at that bit like straight away, like that's one of the points that I saw them bringing up a few times, was that so it's basically when they take the photo, you can't see the stars in the sky behind them.
Yeah,
I mean, this is 1969. Cameras now, I'm pretty sure a lot of the time, if you take a photo, you don't see the stars. Like people trying to take, you know, like videos.
It's because it requires a completely different. It requires a completely different not focal length, shutter speed or something like that. But basically, when you're in bright sunshine, you take a very exposure. That's it. You take a very small amount of time of exposure, because otherwise you'll melt through the film. The film won't show anything up at all. It will just be a big bright patch of nothing. Whilst if you're at night, you have a really high exposure, and that's how you get those pictures of the Milky Way that are so beautiful, even though you can't see it quite often with your bare eyes. It's because they've got a camera there with such a high exposure level, like minutes of exposure, in comparison to the flash of like a second during bright day. And that gives you this perfect picture of all the stars, because those tiny points of light have been exposed on the film for long enough to gradually appear.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Whilst if you do that, of course, on the moon and it's bright sunshine and you take a photo, it's daytime. That exposure level is nowhere near enough to give you those stars in the background. What it will give you is a very bright upfront picture, which is what we've got of the moon, because the moon is basically just white. It's a bit racist.
Grey. I got grey from this.
Okay. In which case, the moon is probably the best of all worlds, and we should follow its lead.
Yeah, it's very midpoint. Yeah. Yeah, but like what you were saying then, with how it comes up as white, like that goes against another point of it as well, because that, like, they always say, well, in the photos. Because this is mainly talking about the photos I gathered, because the video seems like a really grainy thing, which makes sense from what I've heard now. I always thought as well, I assume they make this out in videos and in like movies and stuff now. I assume the video wasn't played live when it happened, though, right?
Oh, it was streamed live. Yeah, well, it was sent from the thing to NASA, and then NASA sent it to a station which broadcast it live. Yeah.
That seems like the weirdest thing to me. Like, could you do that back then? Like,
yeah. Well, it's easier to do that than it was to actually record things for a long time. A lot of the first radio and TV broadcasts especially, they weren't recorded. They were live things where you just sort of filmed it and off you went.
I know, yeah, but like the whole transporting it, like, you know, there's no tapes or anything, there's no wires. How did the wireless from there to there?
Signal.
Like
a signal, mate. It's just a radio wave, like any other radio wave. So the same way you communicate over the distance between NASA and the Apollo mission, the same communication system they're using, that can be used to send a video signal, and then that's transferred into from radio waves into a video signal by NASA, and then they send that, as I say, to the TV station who broadcast it.
Considering how grainy it was, I suppose that made sense. It's probably just that was what I.
Oh, it's really low quality. Yeah, really low quality. Yeah.
I assume they didn't do it live. That's just surprising in that case. But I suppose at the same time,
I believe that that's the way it was. But because I think that was the thing. Like everyone knew when it was happening, and everyone sat down to watch the moon landing as it happened.
Yeah.
In a very similar way to the way I sat down and watched the Mars rover landing, which is fucking awesome.
I didn't watch that. I'm much more about the highlights personally.
Oh, it was cool, man. It was really good. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that in jail. I think it's a really big thing. So like this kind of thing interested me too, because it's a big thing, like landing on the moon.
It is, yeah. And the moon has got loads of like strategic and resource reasons to go there. Yeah.
And this is the thing as well, like it's not like it's just America that's gone there. I think in the years since this, I'm sure I heard India's gone there, China's gone there, Russia as well, I think went there in the end.
Yeah. I think some of them have only sent like probes or things like that, but yeah.
But a few of them have confirmed they've seen.
Yeah, going to the moon is great. And like, one of the things that I do quite like about the moon is like so as I say, you can question the first moon landing because I have no 100% proof I wasn't there. I can't argue with it, but we are definitely in space, and there's a lot of people out there who genuinely don't think that we're able to make it into space. And it's like, okay, but you can literally get a laser and reflect it off of a mirror that has been placed on the moon. You do realize that, right? You can do that from your back garden with the right equipment.
This is like what was supposed to have been left there on that mission. So if they were able to prove it straight after, then how can you really argue that they went there? You know,
hang on,
if
what? I missed that.
Those things are put there during the Apollo mission.
That's the thing. I'm not sure if they were put in there during that mission or whether it was a later mission that put them there.
No, it was that one apparently, from what I've read. But
there you go then.
At the same time, though, there was someone else saying, but I only saw this one person saying it that does something with something. I don't even know who he was. About this other thing like 10 years before where they used to shoot lasers at the moon and it would reflect back. And they were doing it back then. But
I think that's possible, but you have to use a much, much brighter laser. That's the thing, because it's not a directly reflective surface. So you wouldn't be able to do that with equipment that you'd be able to get in your garden. You'd probably have to use a very powerful laser to do that.
Yeah. As I was saying, it just went back into my mind, and that's exactly what it was. Basically, it would come back like weaker, but then obviously you can tell the difference if you monitor it and all that. Basically, very obvious to those kind of people. Yeah. But there's loads of I was going through it, and I have my own opinions on what it could be. But the stuff that they were saying was just a lot of stuff that I just once again just didn't agree with. I don't see where it came from. Like the one thing we said then about the we just said a second ago. Sorry.
The mirrors also,
that, and what was it? The stars in the sky as well.
Yeah.
And there was also from that you mentioned that the sun was that the moon looked white, and they were making out as well that in the photos it always looked like there was more than one light source because there was more than one direction of shadows, and there is in the photos there is, but it makes perfect sense because, like they said, the sun reflects off the moon's surface and would make another thing, and it made sense, and also off the top of the module itself, and also off the Earth itself too.
Yeah. There's potential for different light sources to do that. I'd be interested to see the photo. That'd be a good one.
There's quite a few of them ones. I could it'll probably only take me a moment to find one.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of them. I think
it's it's one of those things. Is it like does it look like there's a guy in two spotlights, or is it sort of there's one very distinct one and one very faint one and a couple of bits around it? You know,
you can't. From what I remember, you can't see the actual light themselves. You can just tell you know, like there must be different light sources because of the directions of the shadows. Let's have a look. See. Okay, like this one, for example, shows that you've probably seen this photo before. This is one of the more famous
Almost
ones.
certainly, yeah.
There's apparently like 5,000 something, 5,500 something around that level of photos of this online for people to see.
Jesus.
From this actual, all of them, like they're all online because they took so many photos. Now we're talking about the cameras, how they were set up on them, and they were showing them too when they took photos of each other, like a kind of mount like on the front here. Because people were trying to say they wouldn't be able to work those cameras and take those amazing photos that they've took, like with the stubbly hands, like, and with the pressurized or non-pressurized.
Yeah, as if they wouldn't have thought of having a fucking camera built into the suit. Yeah.
Yeah. Some guy built a big fucking machine to show how this couldn't happen with like a glove in it, and you put your hand in, so I can move it around like this and turn the pressure off, whatever we did. And it's like, it's really hard now. They couldn't do a camera. And we did, it's like what they can build. If they can build a rocket, they can make different buttons for a camera. They can do things. Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah. The other thing that sort of always rings true for me when it comes to the moon landing, the first one specifically, is how long has it been? How long has it been since it happened? So it's 1960 something, wasn't it?
69 we went.
69. So that's 52 years. Am I right? 52 years?
Yeah.
Right, so 52 years, not a single person who was actually working on that project has come forward to say we faked it.
You could say money though.
No, but regardless of that, you're going to be able to make way more money. Like the amount of conspiracies that have just fallen apart because one person said something. Again, Watergate.
Yeah.
And, you know, like all these other things. All it takes is one whistleblower. One whistleblower. And they could make a fucking fortune if they were the one who finally confirmed that shit was bullshit. If they went to the Russians and said that shit was bullshit. You know, they could have earned fuckloads. Yeah. Did they? No, because they didn't have any fucking proof because it never happened.
Well, it did happen.
In my opinion. You know, it did happen, yeah.
Okay,
but the faking never happened, in my opinion.
I think I've got a couple here that I can show you. There's probably better ones, but these are the first ones that came up.
Go for it.
So there's like this one, for example, you've probably seen this one a lot.
Yeah.
Like this one, I believe, I'm not sure if I've got the right thing now. Yeah, it's the shadow coming from his feet and that, and then the shadow coming from the right by that foot there, the yellow thing you can see is the foot of the module.
So what am I
Wait, I'm just looking at that thinking, is that part of the machine or is that a shadow?
That looks like a shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the idea is, look, there's a light source.
I know what you mean. There's like the idea there was something going down like that, and then it could have potentially been doing a shade off of that. But like his shadow seems to be going definitively in one direction.
Yeah. But then the shadow from the other thing is going a different way.
Yeah, but is that actually a thing?
I was just wondering is that a shadow?
Yeah, I think that's just a crease in the ground. And this is the thing, like again, the problem I have with it was, well, either way, but I have a problem with it because people go like, "Oh, it must be fake then." Well, either that, or there's a crease in the ground, or it's something closer to you and is therefore slightly out of focus and won't be casting a shadow anywhere you can see it. There's so many
it's
different explanations for this that aren't the entire thing was faked.
There's loads of things like with the shadows as well. If you're looking and it looks slightly different, like imagine if you're sitting on like a pavement looking at like the sidewalk and it's like
optical illusions.
Yeah,
when it goes up that. And if it's thousands of pictures of the moon that they've got, then you're gonna get a couple of optical illusions.
That one makes a bit more sense because they're saying here.
Oh, that's no. I'll tell you what this is. This is someone who doesn't know what a fisheye lens is.
Oh,
that is not a basic camera. That is a fisheye lens absorbing a lot more area, so it's bent the lines of the fucking camera.
Yeah, because it's right at the edge as well, so very much so could be.
Yeah.
You can see when you look through some of them though as well why, you know. I'm just gonna have a look at any more.
But again, this is the problem. A lot of it is people don't know a lot about how cameras work, and I don't know a huge about how cameras work, but I do own a DSLR, and I have had to use it to do some directing stuff. And literally, you do a few bits like that, and you're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's a fisheye lens. This is a that. That's a this."
Yeah.
You know.
I'm just having a look if there's any other shadowy type bodies that I could find. I can't really see any that make much of a point of that. There is something else that's quite interesting though, because you can see from those kind of things why you can get it, like how they could see that kind of thing from it. I agree with you. Like it's not the
and
shadow.
There's still motive. Again, let's never forget there is motive in this conspiracy. It's not a dumb conspiracy like fucking flat Earth. All right, there's motive here.
Yeah. Well, it's not like flat Earth. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I won't say names, but one of the people on the quiz yesterday, his name definitely wasn't Griff. Put it that way.
I see.
For a moment, try to defend flat Earth. That they have some interesting points and whatnot.
No, they don't.
I had to give him a time, mate.
Yeah, I'm not fucking surprised. Oh my god. No.
I showed a little clip on that, and he was like, "Well, you said this, but you know, like some of the stuff that they say." I was like, "Well, I don't know, Griff."
No, Griff. No, mate. No.
But you know, he's young. He'll learn.
The problem is that people seem to think that like flat Earth, thinking about flat Earth is like, oh, it makes me a deep thinker. Like I'm not following your rules. I'm thinking for myself. No, you're not. You're watching a shitty YouTube video. Fucking hell! That's a remake I would be willing to watch right there. That would be a fucking chat. Oh, that's brilliant. I missed out on a good one. Excellent. Oh, there's me. Oh, the quiz off training camp. Got the fucking middle class mafia on the go.
I know a few more. You look very angry in this one.
God, these are brilliant.
Oh shit! I do it like that. Look, I was doing the
thing. Makes such a good ET.
He does, doesn't he?
Oh shit!
Yeah, but anyway, I got completely sidetracked with that.
Well, regardless, it was funny. So
yeah. This here, actually, I won't put it up yet. There was a photo.
Go for it.
That was used. That was used like as marketing photos, you know, just to put out there to show pictures from what happened. Basically, this was put in a magazine, I believe, or somewhere as a photo from stuff happening in, you know, a spacewalk that Buzz Aldrin did, I believe it was.
Oh, yeah.
First, they proved very quickly that it was just a training one where the background had been taken out. I mean, it's hard. You can't really argue that. So you can see once again.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Let's have it. Okay. The thing to do would be to take it into Photoshop and and like flip it and superimpose it exactly over the top.
I think it would line up, to be honest with you. Wait, actually, what about that? Because the reason that I can that it looks like that they've made it a lot brighter, I reckon, is to cover up the creases in the legs. And you can kind of see what looks like a slight line from the crease going across. I mean, you don't know for definite, of course. Like you said, flipping it over would be the easiest way. Looking for that thing, it's kind of hard to get your head around sometimes when you're looking at it flipped the other way.
It doesn't actually necessarily look like a full astronaut suit. That's not the suit they would have worn outside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot wrong with that. Just ignoring trying to figure out if it's definitely that photo. That one, photo 2, was put in as a spacewalk photo. The Buzz Aldrin
That
did.
seems to me as a mistake in the way it's been put into the system more than anything else, because that is clearly not a spacewalk suit.
Yeah, but then you say mistake, and you can once again get where people come from with this. When you look at that, you find out, like, I mean, I know what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like, if it's a mistake, then why was that made to begin with the blacked out photo? Why would that be put somewhere? And it's like, well, if I made a mistake with that one, how many? I mean, at the same time, I think the easier explanation might also be that it could just be like someone in the marketing department or someone, just some random person thought, oh, we haven't got quite enough photos of the spacewalk. I'll make this. No one will know any different. Or maybe they deleted one by accident, wanted to cover their ass, and they made that. There's a few explanations, like you were saying, though.
Yeah.
But I see... Yeah, I see, like, once again, though, it's another thing where you see all these different things kind of builds up, and you can see why people do believe this stuff. There was another one that I always thought about, like, which I found more interesting, was the fact that when it landed, would it not show, like a... I wouldn't say a blast crater because that's a bit too dramatic, but like a point, in the Earth where it blew the debris away as it's landing,
Oh, yeah, you'd see the landing zone, but you can see the landing zone.
You can and you can't. There's not really. There's very small bits. Let's have a look, see.
Because they still had to leave the lander behind. It was only a section of the lander that launched. You can actually see on Google Maps via Google Moon on the Google Maps where it is.
They got Google Moon on Google Maps. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they used a satellite to do it as well. Yeah, again, another reason why you can look in and find where it is.
Yeah, that was great though. I did not know you could do that.
Yeah, it's really good.
I know there's one particular photo I'm trying to look for, but I can't find it, and I don't just want to use all the time doing that. There's another photo here of shadows, which does show it more actually. Let me show you this one.
Okay.
Once again, I don't really buy this. There's probably another explanation for it, but I think it's interesting, in my opinion. Just you can see the psychology of why they believe this a bit more.
Yeah.
Over than flat Earth, like we said, which is just grabbing nothing from nowhere. Where's
Excuse me, I burped.
Where did I save that then? Did I just save that? Wait, no, not that bit. That bit. I'm like an old man, I swear. I'll turn 30. I'm an old man now with technology. What can I say?
Yeah, turning 30 sucks ass. I didn't like it.
Why?
Well, to be fair, I had quite a good 30th birthday.
Yeah.
Considering it was all lockdowny, much like yours, But yeah, it was good. I had some whiskey. I released a podcast. It was fucking great.
I'm going to take that back now about that photo. It looks like the same one we looked at, just a lot more zoomed out, so you can see like the walker a bit, the leg a bit more in that. But I think that bit I was looking at was definitely something sticking out from the leg. But it looks like it even more now. So I'm going to take it back. I don't believe it. Even less so.
The problem is, like, that one to me that one to me, I can understand why that seems like a problem, and you know what, it could well be. But again, there are so many fucking explanations that happened before it was all entirely faked, and the amount of evidence
there's a lot more
Yeah.
different things you could say first.
Yeah. It's like that could have been, you know, just a promotional material that they messed with to try and make it look better than it was. Or I've heard as well the theory that they faked one anyway, that so just in case they failed and people died, they could run it and then get them back and then like say, oh, they died on the way home, but they made it to the moon. Don't you worry about it. You know,
so they did both in that one.
Well, yeah, that's the theory.
That kind of goes with not what I think, but what I used to buy into more. But to be fair, what I used to think more. But since looking into it again, like a few things in this, I've looked into it more and realised, you know what? No, this is all kind of bullshit, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, have you heard of do you know the Van Allen radiation? Van Allen belt, I think it's called the Van Allen belt. Yeah.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, it's a radiation belt, and it's supposedly going to kill people when you pass through it, or something like that. Is it, or is it?
Yeah, it's like a big radiation donut thing around the Earth. It's best, but so different points to it of the week, at different points and all that. And a lot of people say none of this matters because we couldn't have got people through there without killing them. With 1969 stuff, you know, little spacesuits, and they had only little, like, you know, walls. They weren't, you'd need, like, they were talking about, like, you know, you need like walls of lead and water to fully block the radiation going through. And that is kind of true though with what was there.
What kind of radiation was it?
I'm not sure, but it was one that was harmful to people.
Yeah, there's all forms of radiation are harmful to people. Right now, there's three different types of radiation. Okay. First type of radiation is your alpha radiation. And alpha radiation is a piece of, I think, a hydrogen atom which no longer has an electron. It's literally just a proton going around desperately trying to get something. And it's just going bang, 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 bang into anything it hits. It's mostly harmless. For example, if you're bathed in...
A drunk college boy just really horny from the sound of it.
Yeah.
Just trying to go whenever they can.
And the thing is, like, it's mostly bouncing off. It's not getting a lot of hits. It will bounce off of your skin. It's not anything to worry about. Then you've got beta radiation, which is slightly smaller in the scale. It's no longer an atomic piece. I think it's actually part of an atom, if that makes sense. And that's that can penetrate and go through you, but it's also not really gonna fuck you up. It's just gonna it's not gonna fuck up your genetic code. It's just it doesn't do much.
Yeah.
Now, alpha particles can fuck you the fuck up if you drink them.
Okay. Well, why would that ever happen?
Right. So if you drink a load of it, like, for example, in a radioactive poison, Russia. Then you drink a load of that stuff, and instead of it going anywhere, because it will bounce around inside you, damaging particles as it's going on, just bam, 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 like that over and over and over again. I'm not sure whether that's actually alpha or beta. I might have mixed the two up. Now, the serious bastard is gamma radiation. Now, that shit is fucking serious because it is no longer... Yeah. And it's no longer even a particle. It's an energy form of itself. It's like a wave more than anything else. And that will pass through human beings like a knife through fucking butter. And it will tear apart your genetic code as it's going along, just ripping it to pieces, which is what causes people to melt in Chernobyl. Now, alpha particles can be stopped by paper.
Right, okay.
Beta particles can be stopped by about, I think it's a couple of millimeters of aluminium. And gamma radiation requires motherfucking lead. Okay? So, What type of radiation is the belt?
The whole time, and I've been trying to find out, and it gives me ideas, but it doesn't give me any of the things you said.
What I would assume is that it is a mix of mostly alpha and beta with a touch of gamma here and there, and that is something you can easily deal with the shell of a spaceship, because a shell of a spaceship also has to deal with the radiation from the sun itself, which is significantly higher once you're in space. And again, it's like these people go, oh no, you have to have lead to use it. It's like, motherfucker, these people have worked with materials that you've never heard of.
But you do have to remember as well, this is 1969 ones we're talking about too.
Even then,
yeah,
they were working with types of foil and like combined materials that were so much more advanced than anything else at the time. Why do you think it costs so much fucking money?
What would the sun have in it?
The sun is distinctly gamma radiation.
Oh, okay, well,
it's a fucking huge fusion reaction.
It's the stuff that comes from the sun.
Yeah, but again,
contains charged particles of both atmospheric and solar origin. The latter
charged. There you go. Charged ions. Particles. Helium ions. There you go. It's alpha.
Oh, okay. Is that what that means?
That's alpha.
The latter consisting larger. What can I just say that? Jesus. What do all these random shit in there? Just say alpha then.
Yeah. Charged particles, you're talking alpha or beta. If it was a huge amount of gamma radiation, then you'd be fucked. Like, for example, if you go close to the sun, because it's a fusion reaction, the closer you get, the more gamma radiation you're going to be having. But we are so far away from the sun that you can sort of protect yourself.
Wait. So this belt that they're talking about, that would have passed. They were talking about it in a documentary about how he came. It would have come through the ship. It would have passed through. And this is even the NASA people that were saying it. Even the NASA people were there.
It may well do, but it won't kill them. It may well, but it won't kill them. That's the thing.
I've just checked everything you were saying then about the alpha thing, and it says here, like, even a piece of paper and even the skin on your body can protect you against it.
Yeah.
So why are they even talking about this?
I don't know. Because these people don't understand the basics of radiation. Like, I don't know why. Yeah, well, I know, but the thing is, like,
it's a tiny bit of what they said.
Yeah, okay.
What were you saying, then, though?
Oh, it's basically like the idea is that people think they know everything about science. And the stupid thing is you could never be more wrong. Ever.
Yeah.
Scientists don't know everything about science. Science is just something it's not even a thing. Like, people think of science like it's religion. It's not. It's just basically, can you repeat that? That's all science is. Can you repeat that?
Academia is more the religion if you're going to look at anything like that.
Yeah, theologians and stuff like that. But science comes down to, I did this test and it gave me these results. Can you, over there in a completely different place, do these tests and tell me if you get the same results? If they get the same results, they go, oh, got something here. If it gets the different results, nothing.
Yeah.
The entire thing disappears. It can be disproven.
You know what, as well, do at the same time, a lot, like, it's not just people that don't know about science that are guilty of this stuff. A lot of scientists feel like, and they've always felt like this in history as well, like that, no, where we are now, we've reached the pinnacle of scientific understanding. There's nothing else left to discover. That's it.
Yeah.
It's 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. They think it now. Well, they thought it like maybe 10, 15 years ago. They seem smarter now. That no, we don't know everything.
No. And that's the problem. Like, the minute you think you know everything, you're a fucking fool. It's like there's a guy who preaches, like, spirituality and stuff like that, and he's a complete and total dick. And his name is Deepak Chopra. Some people don't like it when you bring up Deepak Chopra. Like, oh no, Deepak Chopra, he's a fucking cunt. Right. Deepak Chopra goes into into these self-help seminars where he's like, everyone, listen to me. Everything's fine. You're going to live forever, and I can prove it because I know how quantum mechanics works. Right there, you're wrong, because you don't know how quantum mechanics works.
I just had a look at this guy then. I don't like his face straight away, but
he's a twat hole. And the worst part is, people defend him, and he's done pyramid schemes. He had a drink that he sold to these wankers, and then they had to sell it on to other people in literally a pyramid scheme. And everyone's going like, oh no, Deepak Chopra, he's a spiritual leader. He's a fucking shyster.
So just like a new age kind of cool
new age hippie bullshit, and he thinks he knows everything what he's fucking talking about when it comes to science, and he knows nothing. Absolutely nothing.
You know, anyway, as soon as people start saying that they know, whatever it is, as soon as they start saying that they know exactly this and that, it's just annoying. I mean, fair enough with science, if you actually do, if you have been and like, you know, learned all this stuff and that particular thing you know about it. It's like, okay, you have the right to say, I know this for a fact.
Have you gone and done the degree? Then I respect you, sir, and I'll take your fucking word as merit.
But even then,
as bond, whatever.
If you even then, they will probably be the first to say, I've done this. I understand what I can of it, but I understand now we can't understand all of it or whatever.
Yeah, and that's healthy.
Yeah,
it's healthy to not know everything and to trust experts.
Just life in general, I always think it's healthy to just accept you can't know everything. There's not explanations for everything. It's the same thing. It goes hand in hand. Just,
and then
this idea of always wanting to put logic and a reason to everything fits with this too.
Yeah. And again, like you don't have to be a genius in everything. You don't have to think you're the smartest guy in the room. You just have to know your shit and listen to other people when they know theirs. Not, you know.
Yeah, not everyone can be as smart as me, so you know, just don't try.
Yeah, not everyone's a genius like Kd Hinken.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no joke there. I'm not trying to make a joke to be funny. I'm just letting everyone know. Stop. You're just not going to get, you know.
Yeah, just. You know, just quit trying to get on his level, right?
You can't get on my level.
Sorry,
stop myself from saying something then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really that much more to talk about with the moon landing thing. It's kind of, you know, I kind of believed that whole radiation thing kind of killed what I believed. Because I thought, if anything, if there was anything to it, because sometimes with these, when there's something to it, there could be a part of it that's true. And I thought maybe, if anything, I would buy that they did it because it seems obvious because the reflectors that are on there, they've confirmed stuff that was there before. It seems obvious to me. That
also, there's emotional proof. This is a YouTube video you're going to want to see. Have you seen the picture of Buzz Aldrin punching someone's lights out?
I saw in the documentary an old man punching someone's lights out. Was that
was sense. Buzz Aldrin. Because someone went up to him and said, how dare you? Yeah. How dare you be part of conspiracy to pull the wool over the eyes of the American people? How dare you? You're a liar and you're a cheat. And just wham!
You've probably been hearing that forever, though.
He had. And that's the thing. This guy, and like, there's a documentary where he's talking about it. He's like, I am not having some little bitch tell me that the greatest thing I ever did in my entire life was a lie. That was the most amazing thing that ever fucking happened to me, and don't you fucking dare take it away.
that means so much more to me than any of like the other evidence or whatever. Just that alone, like, that's how you would react. That makes it so much more believable. If you had any reason not to believe it before seeing that, should make you think again, really.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful moment of just fuck your ignorance. Bang!
There's a few little things we didn't touch on, like the fact of the flag moving, but then they also point out that they made an extra thing to hold it up. Why the flag
Not
is
only
always
that,
illuminated because it's
also,
see-through as well.
Yeah, and when you slam a flag into a pole like that, yes, it stays in one place, but you know what's there still? When you what happens when you whack a pole?
When you whack a pole?
When you whack a pole really hard, what happens?
Just kind of shakes.
Yeah, it vibrates.
Yeah.
What happens when you slam a pole with a flag in it into an environment which doesn't have wind or to stop something fluttering?
It's going to keep doing that.
It's going to keep doing it forever because it is literally just constantly vibrating. Eventually it will stop because the momentum will stop. But in our environment, the wind is what makes something move, but it's also what stops something from moving because the air around it is pulling it down and stopping it from moving because there's air friction each time it moves.
Yeah, like air resistance and all that. Yeah.
So when you slam a piece into the ground and it's got a cloth on it in the middle of null space, it's just going to sit there and do that.
Oh, the cloth, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was really confused how slamming a pole into the earth fits with
because the pole that they put because the flag the flag is on the pole. They slam the pole into the ground. That transfers the energy to the flag.
Oh, and then it makes it shake. Yeah. And there's a thing on the top that holds it there anyway, so even more so in that case. And it's just going to keep doing this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do mention that there's little slight solar winds anyway. So even the slightest thing, if there's
a very tiny amount of but it's almost negligible.
But even the tiniest bit of movement on it, though, yeah. Because I was thinking you would just hold it and then stop it from vibrating, but then even taking away, unless you perfectly take your hand away, the littlest knock is
just letting go will also make it start again.
Yeah, which you will, though. Yeah. Okay, that's what you're saying. But it's another explanation that makes perfect sense. It isn't really needed, though, again, because there's nothing really here. I thought, if anything, it would have been the radiation from the Van Allen bell came through and fucked up the tapes. So they had to re-tape it. I thought, if anything, that would be the thing that would be true to me. But there's still no the only thing that seems logical, well, I say it seems logical. The only thing you can question that you're left with really is you see some videos of the movements they're making when they're on it, and they look like they're being jerked around a bit sometimes on cables. But at the same time, that means you have to assume you know what you would look like in space.
Yeah.
I'm not confident that I know what that looks like.
People go like, oh, but if you speed up the footage, it looks like literally people walking along. Yeah, because they are, and they're they're moving slower there because the gravity is lower, so they're bouncing a little bit, and it's taking longer to get from one place to another. And the amount of gravity that it is less is also equivalent to the amount of speed that you lose. I don't know. The thing is, I'm pretty solid in my position of it, so I could understand if someone.
I am now.
Yeah, I could understand if someone wasn't, though. I could understand if someone, still thought, oh, well, these people are just, buying the, drinking the Kool-Aid or whatever it is. But let's look at it again from just simple practicality. How much did it cost them to get to the moon? It wasn't cheap. It was millions of dollars, but they had thousands of people working on that project, literally thousands, and they would have had to keep paying them for 52 years to keep their mouths shut. What's cheaper?
Kill them.
Yeah, kill them. Yeah.
Oh, there was one guy that was like, apparently, what was it now? Something about he supplied someone at NASA with, I swear it was some kind of material or something like that, something really inconsequential that you could probably get from a few different places, but at the same time, it made sense they would have to get it from somewhere. And he'd seen some stuff that he shouldn't have seen or something. And he was like in a trailer surrounded by loads of cats at the time, just to clarify.
Yeah.
Like something from Breaking Bad, saying about all this. And then he said a load of different things that were trying to intimidate him. Something about basically anyway, they tried to kill him. And I was just thinking, okay, this is the only time I've heard this. You're the only one they tried to kill for reasons I don't quite understand. What does it say about the government if they can fake all this or do whatever they did, all these various things that they fake all the
time?
Try
to kill you and then just go, oh, he's sitting in a trailer with cats. Now it smells bad. We're not going in there now.
Yeah, they can do all that, but they can't kill him.
Yeah, because he is fucking Rambo.
Ignoring the fact of why they would need to. Ignore that. But they can't. Is the issue there.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I need to go. Yeah. I just started keeping a track of this now. I'm going to start keeping a track of when we go through conspiracies. Like how many stand up to it and how many just fall apart as soon as you look into them a little bit. I count 3 that we've ripped apart now.
There's 3, yeah. There's going to be. I've got another one planned that is definitely going to end up getting ripped apart, but it is a fun one.
Okay.
So we'll do that. We'll do that next time. For now, I've got something that's just good old fashioned little crime thriller.
That's cool because I've got true crime for next week as well. So that works. So if you want to do that next week, then yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Let me just quickly run these by you just to make sure I've got the right ones. Then I've got for conspiracies owned that we've ripped apart. Then I remember Flat Earth, Skinwalker.
Yep.
And
moon landing.
And moon landing, of course. Yeah, can't be the last one. The one we just did. And then I just put succeeded conspiracies as 1, but I think it's 2. But I only did 1 with you. 1 Tower 7. I don't know if we'd class that as succeeded or on the fence still.
Yeah,
maybe on the fence conspiracies. Is
Tower 7. No, I think Tower 7. We were pretty solid on it. There's something weird there.
There's something there to it. There's something.
Maybe not necessarily with the other building, but like that one seems weird.
I'll put it as something to it. Conspiracies. There's something to it. There we go. That's a better way.
That's a better way of putting it. Yeah.
Okay, so there's that, and also the other one that I remember for that though, but it was before before I was doing the movie South was JFK.
Yeah, JFK. There's definitely something there.
I think I know what it is. I think 100% it was one of the CIA people personally. It just makes sense. It makes perfect sense with all the evidence.
CIA mixed with mafia, mixed with governments and things like that, all just leading down to a lot of people wanted this guy dead.
Yeah, you don't know who it was. But to be fair though, in all honesty, I kind of buy as well that I can't remember now if it was CIA or Secret Service. I think it was Secret Service actually in the car behind him. It was whoever was in 2 cars behind him. I believe it was Secret Service the whole way. There's a whole load of stuff about what they did the night before, why the one that had the gun. In fact, they said the gun wasn't there, but yet they had the gun in the photo, and the position of it. It seemed I buyed it was maybe an accident. Didn't mean to do that. Could have been. After the first couple of shots, he swung around a bit to do whatever, he shot it. Oh fuck! But either way, it wasn't just Oswald anyway.
No, it wasn't just Oswald. At the very least, even if he was part of it, and if it wasn't sort of,
he was involved,
if he didn't, definitely. Yeah. But like the thing is, he seems very Patsy-like in the whole thing.
As does Jack Ruby.
Yeah,
the guy who killed him just as much, like with all the stuff. Yeah. Might have to go into
that again. If you're gonna do conspiracies, like the best way to deal with it is to kill them, and they never did that with the moon landings.
Or completely discredit them, which is essentially what they did with Ruby, for example. With MK
or and what they did with what they tried to do with Watergate, but they failed.
Yeah. Isn't it weird that MK Ultra, if we didn't have all the documentation about it, and some people probably do anyway, still consider it a conspiracy theory. Maybe it wasn't.
No, that shit was fucked up. Like genuinely fucked up.
That's something we've got to go into more detail about.
You could do a whole episode on MK Ultra.
Yeah. There's all different branches you could go out to because there's loads of different things that can be incorporated into it, like Manson. Charles Manson.
The Men Who Stare at Goats all comes off of that shit as well.
There's the whole Midnight Climax variation of it. And then this stuff, like we were saying, how it factored into the JFK assassination. There's loads.
Yeah. A lot of stuff about mind control with the CIA back in the day.
Yeah, the history going into it too. And I imagine there's a lot of stuff with the Nazis as well that leads into it too.
Because Nazis were really into that shit.
Yeah.
Because they were all about, like, Josef Mengele was all about testing twins and shit and seeing if there was a connection. One could feel the other's pain and shit like that. They were really into finding out how to manipulate brains.
Have you seen that thing about, because a lot of them went to South America, the Nazis, a lot of the ones that escaped. Seen the thing about that
Argentina is full of Nazis.
Yeah. There's one town that's got like loads of twins. It's like a weirdly high amount of twins, and they're like whether he went there, and did it. But apparently they proved he didn't. But they didn't say that anyway,
Yeah,
they probably didn't.
You can't really trust Argentina on Nazis. They're pretty pro-Nazi as things go.
Totally.
That
was a long time ago. It's like, well, yeah, but if there's just a load of Nazis there, over time, they're still there. There's more of them now. They've procreated.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh, no, we should feel sorry for Argentina, the Falklands and stuff. No, they're profiteering off of Nazis and, their prime minister's a fucking fool or premier, whatever it is, or president.
I think they should appreciate it. I mean, we literally all the time tell them not to cry for us. So why not?
Don't cry for me, Argentina. Oh, mate.
Good.
I was quite happy with that.
So you got true crime this week then for us, Nathan?
Yes. I have the story of the Great Maple Syrup Robbery.
Oh, yeah. Cool. I was hoping you were going to see this one.
Yeah. This story is one of my favourite crime stories ever. The first time I ever heard about it was listening to Kevin Smith's podcast, Smodcast, where he was explaining the details of it to his mate Scott Mosier, who produced the films for him.
Okay. I think I've seen some of that podcast.
Yeah, it's fucking great. And basically, a little history. Let's start off with a little history. It's Canada, right? It's sort of the mid 1950s, Canada, eh? Yeah.
There you go.
Hoser. Do you know what a hoser is, eh? Neither do I, but Canadians say it a lot, eh?
All my Canadian references stretch to Guy, basically Terence and Philip.
Yeah,
that's all I know. And Dudley Do Right. That was great.
Shit. Hoser or hosehead is a slang term and a derogatory term originating from Canada and used primarily by those imitating Canadians. It is used often by Canadians, but it is sometimes used as a typical Canadian slang. So it is often used by Canadians, but we don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
You goddamn hoser. And it's a foolish or uncultivated person. Oh, fuck, I love Canada. Right,
Wait, time.
Right.
Oh, my bad. I just realised I didn't write the time code. There you go. Carry on.
Shit. Okay. So, as I say, a little history. It's the 1950s, and maple syrup is one of Canada's biggest exports, as it still is today. Canada is all about maple syrup.
Makes a lot of sense.
Oh, yeah. But the problem is, it's a bit of a difficult market. The people with a huge amount make a huge amount of money. in the smaller guys, if they have a bad crop, they're fucked. So people are going destitute. All this kind of shit's happening.
The Maple Syrup monopoly. I've heard about this.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. In 1966, a group of maple syrup producers in Quebec participated in a joint plan to collectively market maple syrup. Now, Quebec is one of the biggest producers of maple syrup in Canada. By far, they produce a huge amount of the maple syrup that comes out of Canada, and therefore a huge amount of the maple syrup that goes around the world, because almost all of the maple syrup is made in Canada. All of it in the world. Almost
the best maple syrup here is the best.
Yeah, the only Canada is a French Canada. If you lived there for a day, you'd understand.
Are one of the top exports, especially in Canada, of great wrestlers too. A lot of good wrestlers come from Quebec.
Yeah, you're not wrong, actually. Yeah, and
the modern ones: Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. There's a lot of old ones too.
I think it's the anger of like being French without being fully French, if you know what I mean.
The anger of having some French in you at all.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, like if you're gonna be French, you may as well go the whole hog.
Yeah, you're
just gonna be half French.
Lovely.
Yeah, and if you're just half French, then that just sounds like agony. I
mean, I don't want to sound racist here, but
no. If anything, this is jingoist. Fuck them.
I heard somewhere prejudiced at one point that racism is races and religions. Prejudice is the countries. I'm like, no, I don't think anyone really knows.
Jingoist. Jingoist is the country. I'm pretty sure. I think so. Anyway, I think so. Jingoist.
It's just such a weird. All of that stuff's such a weird concept. I'm going to hate you for this.
It is.
You're born on a different piece of dirt.
Yeah.
But my piece of dirt is better than your piece of dirt.
Yeah, that's the dumbest one. It's like there was a quote from David Mitchell's autobiography I always liked, which was basically he goes, I quite like British telegraph poles and lights and things like that, but I kind of hope that's what most people feel about their own countries. And he's right, you know what I mean? Like if you're in the middle of Afghanistan and you love your country, like yes, these are the greatest lights in the world.
I'm
totally down with that.
American people apparently love their country, all of them. They're very patriotic, but they seem to also love destroying their country.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, the best way to celebrate being American is to blow a hole in it.
Well, to be fair, 4th of July, they blow things up to celebrate the birth. We all do that, actually. We blow things. Yeah, we celebrate people trying to blow up our parliament, so we can't talk.
Yeah, no, but it's just a shame they never succeeded.
There'd have been a whole new.
What we do?
You chop off one head of the Hydra, 2 come back.
Yeah.
Boris and Theresa
Hail Hydra,
baby. There you go.
Yeah. So right, where was I? Yes. So Quebec forms the Federation of Quebec Maple Syrup Producers, or FPAC for short.
Even sounds like a wrestling company.
It does a bit, doesn't it? Either that or some kind of terrible Tupac tribute. So they basically started this shit to try and keep values as high as they possibly could. So much that they will keep excess each year to make sure that they have reserves. So they found the maple they found the Maple Syrup Reserve, a literal building, like a huge warehouse full of gallon tanks of maple fucking syrup.
I'm imagining the episode of Simpsons when they have like the warehouse full of sugar and it's just a pile of sugar in a warehouse somewhere.
Yeah.
Imagine that with maple syrup, a pile of maple syrup. I know it's liquidy consistency, but it's thick enough to stay there for a minute, so I'm imagining that, and that's what I want to imagine. Continue.
It's not quite as fun as that. In reality, it's just big grey like oil drums full of it.
I think you're wrong. It's actually just the warehouse is just a big pile of maple syrup.
Of maple syrup. Yeah.
It's
You
not
can
in the whole
jump in
room. You need diving apparatus to get in there.
yeah, mate.
Full of maple syrup.
Swimming in maple syrup would be fucking delicious.
What a way to go! Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
okay, maple syrup filling the room.
Yes.
Maple syrup factory. Okay, no, the reserve. Sorry.
Right. So, FPAC, the Federation of Quebec Maple Syrup Producers, own all of the maple syrup in all of the trees of Quebec by law, even if it's on your property.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. The only person you can sell to is FPAC or one of their distributors.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
You cannot sell outside on what is known as the black market.
So it's not that you own it. It's just. Oh, sorry. It's not that they own it. It's just you can only sell it to them. So
By law, literally written into law. And a lawyer went in to say, look, you can't do this. You're forcing a monopoly. And they went, by law you can't do this. And then they went, okay, but we've written a new law now. So.
Yeah.
Yes, we
you
can.
gotta look at laws of a country to do that, though. It's like you can't do this. By law. Okay, who writes the laws? Us. Okay, well, change the law.
Excellent. It's like MPs constantly voting up their own pay. I'd do that if I could as well, but surprisingly enough, I don't have the opportunity.
Weird that.
Weird, isn't it? Yeah. So,
like bosses in companies that give themselves bonuses.
oh mate, it's the worst is people like fucking Bobby Kotick. Bobby Kotick runs Activision, right? He has.
Right.
Yeah, they've made record profits every year, and despite that, they have fired people every single year, and then they have rehired people, the same people sometimes, so that a guy who has been working at Activision for 5 years is now being paid less than when he started.
Right.
And Bobby Kotick paid himself a $200 million bonus.
I mean, it's his company at the same time, though.
Yeah.
I get that. It's his company. It's still
This
a
is
weird
the problem.
way.
Yeah, but this is the
To
problem.
do-
He
to
does
do that to-
literally no work, no good work at all.
Why
Even
does that
his
happen?
shareholders. But because that's corporate America, man.
I'm just trying to figure out, like, he's the owner of the company kind of thing. Like, is it something...
Well, he's not owner, he's CEO. The owners are the shareholders.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, like the top, though. So it's like,
Yeah.
would they do that on purpose, or is it just because the managers on the lower levels are terrible, or is it just a shit job, so people keep leaving and going back? It's a weird one.
No.
It's weird.
Yeah, he's just, from what I can tell, the man is just a genuine straight up arsehole and is taking any opportunity he can to fill his own pockets, which is fine, if that's your prerogative, but I'd rather not pay any money to it,
Yeah, sadly, money matters in the world, and people care too much about it, my man.
They do, especially it's either one extreme or the other. It's always the people like bitching and complaining that they don't have too much, or bitching and complaining that they have too much. It's like, dude, come on, chill.
I'd love to hear someone complaining they've got too much money. Slap
No,
them across
genuinely,
the
this is the thing Bobby Kotick will do. People, he's like, oh no, I don't know what to do.
Oh,
with it.
no. How am I going to survive? I got too much money. It's weighing me down.
Yeah, genuinely, it's like, oh, but I'm going to get taxed now higher. Yeah, but you're earning more. Yeah, but I'm being taxed. Fuck off.
You're still going to be. You're still going to be. It's such a dumb thing when people say that I'm going to get taxed more now. So yeah, but
You're still
comparison to what
earning
you have, you're still at the end of it. You're still going to have more. That's how it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. Oh man. Right. So
Fucking dumb.
where were we?
People are dumb.
Yeah,
Nathan.
you can cut that out if you want to. Just the whole political rant.
No. People need to
Sweet,
know how dumb the world is.
It is
I'm sure
fucking
they
dumb.
do. I'm sure they do.
Yeah. I'm sure they're aware.
Yeah, I'm sure they're fully aware.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't even talked about the vaccine stuff.
Yeah. Right, so here we go. Here's the percentages, before I forget, of the FPAC market. FPAC represent 77% of all global maple syrup supply.
Well, yeah, to be fair, I don't know why I'm laughing. That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's more
So they made...
Yeah. So carry on.
Yeah. No, yeah, they maintain the strategic reserve, officially known as the International Strategic Reserve of Maple Syrup. As if it, like, I love it so much. It's such a Canadian thing to take maple syrup so fucking seriously.
Yeah. It's kind of great as well.
Yeah. It's
kind of
so
lovely.
wonderful. I'm so happy that they care so much. You know what I mean? Because, like, I do like maple syrup, but I'm not buying it all the time. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that you get on occasion. It's a bit of maple syrup would be lovely. But no, it's one of their biggest exports.
Be like us having a Federal Reserve for tea. Well, we don't make it here, do we? I suppose.
Nah, we always end up, making other people grow it for us and then stealing it back, because that's really good business.
Apparently it is. Like, apparently it is.
That was that's what the entire empire was based off of. It turns out you can make shitloads of money if you just don't pay your workers.
Weird that.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah. Forcing people to do things means you end up with more money.
Yeah. No, that's the reason why slavery kind of had to have laws against it, because it was just way too easy.
Yeah, that's why.
Right, so the Great Canadian Maple Syrup Heist. We've got to the big stuff here.
Oh yeah, okay. I forgot about the heist part as well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because so far it's been this greedy cartel, but now they're about to have their comeuppance.
Because it was the middle class. It was the fucking Maple Syrup Monopoly Mafia.
Yeah, the FPAC.
FPAC. Oh god.
Yeah. So the Maple Syrup Heist is the informal name for a months-long theft between 2011 and 2012 of nearly 3,000 tons of maple syrup.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a hell of a lot.
With a street value of $18.7 million.
That's just more expensive than crack. What the hell?
It is the biggest theft in Canadian history.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Biggest in Canadian history, maple syrup.
Yeah. Again, like, it's such a it's the most Canadian story ever made. It could only be more Canadian if they ran away in a fucking Zamboni. It is unfucking real, man.
Got chased by the Mounties.
Chased by the RCMP, just with a hockey player on the back, eh? He's gonna kick your teeth in, eh?
Oh God.
Yeah. So, over the course of several months, between 2011 and 2012, the contents of 9,571 barrels, valued at 18.7 million, were stole in a suspected insider job from an FPAC facility in St. Louis-Blandford, Quebec. So, the syrup was stored in unmarked white metal barrels and expected only once a year. Thieves used trucks to transport barrels to a remote sugar shack where they siphoned off the maple syrup, refilled the barrels with water, and then returned them to the facility. Smart.
Yeah, I suppose if you're taking that many, you're going to need to. Yeah. So you can do it for as long as you can. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, because there are unintended consequences if you don't, and those begin to rear their ugly head. Because as the operation progressed, the thieves started siphoning syrup directly off the barrels in the reserve without refilling them. This led to their downfall. Because
there's always something stupid they do to get greedy.
Yeah, because in fall 2012, or autumn 2012, the FPAC took their annual inventory of syrup barrels. Inspector Michel Gavereau.
It was an inside job. How would they have not known that it hadn't happened for a year?
What do you mean?
Because wasn't it yearly, the inspection, you said?
Oh, yeah.
That's a dumbness right there, isn't it?
It was only a month. It's only been going on for a few months at this point. It started in 2011 and then transferred over to 2012. And then, of course, they do the annual inspection partway through that time, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
It can just be anywhere during the year, I suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose, they wouldn't do it every year anyway, exactly. Yeah.
So, Michel Gavereau started climbing the barrels and nearly fell, expecting 600-pound barrels, but finding them to be empty. So he puts his hand on it and just falls through the fucking barrels.
Yeah.
Police later recovered hundreds of barrels of the syrup from an exporter based in Kedgwick, New Brunswick. It basically turns out to be the largest investigation in Canadian history, with 250 separate investigators in total searching for syrup, which is practically unfucking traceable. You can't. It's not got a tracking chip on it. It's not got an ID on it. It's not got a fucking, imprint of where it came from. It is literally something that you eat.
And even then, it's not going to have things different to it than other maple syrups.
It could just be poured in amongst other maple syrup. You'd never know the difference.
I suppose the only thing they could be doing with the maple syrup is putting it into their own bottles and selling it on as something. Well, as their own maple syrup.
Except you're forgetting about the black market. Because there are a whole chunk of maple syrup producers in Quebec who don't like FPAC at all. Fucking hate them. Go to the point where they will not sell their stuff to FPAC, even though they're supposed to by law, and will instead go to a broker. Someone like Etienne St. Pierre, a New Brunswick-based syrup dealer. Now, he would basically get all of his money for all of his syrup from a man called Sebastien Dutras, who was a trucker involved in the transport of stolen syrup and served 8 months in prison at the end of this fucking story. Because he is what was called a barrel roller. And he is literally the kind of guy who will turn up at one of these random maple syrup distillery people, distribution people who don't want to sell to FPAC and go, okay, then fill them all up and I'll take them across the border to New Brunswick and, Ontario, and then no one has to know. Because in Ontario, you don't have to deal with FPAC. So you can literally just cross the fucking border. Yeah. Okay. Literally just Quebec.
So they take it down and then,
Yeah. So the investigation's first break was noticing that the sides of the barrels were damaged, which doesn't happen with the forklifts in the actual facility itself. Because the forklifts in the facility are the sort of weird spongy ones that sort of grip the barrel around the side and just sort of carry it around and then place it back down again.
Yeah.
Whilst this was clear, forklift scrape marks on either side of the barrel. So,
I like how that was their first inkling, not the person trying to climb up and it toppling down as he.
The person climbing up and falling down was the first angle. Fucking motherfucker! Right.
But that was the first thing they could see of it. That said there was something. Yeah.
Yeah. So that falls down, but then they go, right, this is our first proof of where we can find it. By the way, very sorry for sneezing.
You should be.
Yes.
How dare you?
So they see the damage from the forklifts and they go, right, we're going to have to get ourselves proof of where this forklift came from. Now, it's an outside forklift. There isn't a forklift like this on site anywhere. So it had to be either bought or rented. So the police start looking around, checking all the dealerships they can, until eventually they found Sebastian Jutras, a barrel roller, the guy I've just told you about. He was the middleman in the black market, connecting the buyers outside to the ones in the profits in Ottawa. And of course, his name happened to be on a goddamn receipt. Was it him actually, or was it the other guy?
The receipt.
No, sorry. I think it was actually it was Richard Valieres, I think, who was the one who actually had his name on the deed. But
for the
basically,
for the forklift.
For the forklift, yeah. So they literally rented a fucking forklift, drove it to the place, pulled all the barrels off, did all this shit, and they got caught.
It's his job. Like, he does. That's not the only time he does that. He's a barrel roller, like you said. Even if that's not the level he normally does, surely he could do something better than you. Renting it from somewhere straight away is dumb. If you're gonna do that, anything like
don't rent it. Buy something second hand from someone who will not say anything and then burn the fucking thing afterwards. Don't rent it.
Cash.
It's like, did you hear us? There was a story recently in America.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Like, that's not hot. If you're gonna have to do it, you have no other way. Use a fake name.
Yeah. Oh man, it's.
I don't even give them my real name when they get caught on the bus. Jesus.
I
mean,
God damn it. Oh man, I've completely lost my.
You say something about America? Some story in America?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Talking of similar sorts of things, there was a story in America recently of a dude who did a bank robbery in the worst possible way. So he he went to a BMW dealership, right? And he goes, "Can I have a look at your BMWs?" And this guy goes, "Yeah, go ahead. Which one do you have to look at?" And he goes, "I really like this sporty M3 over here. Do you mind if I just lease it out for a bit and take it for a drive, see if I actually want to put down the money on it?" And he goes, "Yeah, go for it. So set up the lease, gets in the car, drives away. And then he goes to a bank.
Right.
And he's written a note and he's got a gun. So he steps into the bank and he puts the note down, and the note says, "Give me $10,000, or was it 10,000 or 100,000? I think it was $100,000 in bills. I only want 50s and 100s, and if you don't, I'll kill you. Do not scream, or I'll kill you. Do not press a button, or all these things." Hands of the note.
Or he'll kill her.
Yeah. She casually puts the money into the bag, gives him the money, and he walks out. Right? She's already told, press the emergency buttons. Yeah. Police are on the way. Everyone's figuring out what's going on already. But this man decides now is the perfect time to drive back to the dealership.
Right.
And he goes in and he goes, "Oh, guys, I've got enough money now to buy the BMW. Can I just give you this cash and then I'll just be off?" And they're like, "Hell yeah, dude! Come on in. We'll take your cash." But while they're doing the transaction, the phone rings, and lo and behold, it's the police on the other end of the line, and they go, "Yeah, it's like, did you rent a BMW to anyone recently on a lease? It appears to be in your name." "Yes, we did, actually. He's in the office at the moment. Would you mind keeping him talking for a bit longer? We need to arrest that son of a bitch."
Wow. I wonder.
How dumb can someone be?
when you were saying it, I was just thinking, I wonder if he got in that car, like he was just doing it because, you know, he just wanted to try this car. And he got in the car, like, I really like this, but I've got no way to pay for it. I know what I can do. I'm going to rob a bank.
Rob a bank.
and he did. And he wanted to do it straight away. No thought into it whatsoever.
Not at all.
Money for this.
So at least you can't call it premeditated.
You definitely cannot do that.
No, this was a spur of the moment, Robin.
Definitely. I don't think he even thought about it when he was doing it, let alone beforehand.
No, not at all. He was probably tweaked on something. Yeah.
I hope. And he had a gun the whole time, though. That's about it. He might just have a gun anyway.
Yeah, well, maybe. He does seem like the kind of guy who would.
If he had the gun and he wanted the car that badly and he robbed the money to get the car, why not just rob the car?
Yeah.
And just not go back? He didn't even need to rob it. He could have not gone back.
He could have just not gone back. He could have literally left that car there, gone, you know what? I fucking like those BMWs. I'll go somewhere else and buy one.
Yeah,
no.
Wow.
It's like they don't understand how fucking number plates work. Like, fucking hell, dude.
Just anything. I mean, I'm pretty sure there would have been a tracker in there too, even if he had drove off somewhere else. Like, you know, I guarantee you took the car.
Goddamn right. Yeah, goddamn right they do. Yeah. Oh, wow. Man.
So, the maple syrup thing then.
Yes, the maple syrup thing. So, they eventually find the guy. And the police, you know, arrest him. And it's not just him, it's a total of about, I think 4 or 5 other guys. 17 men in total were arrested related to the theft, right? So because it was an internal thing, they weren't entirely sure who it was. They were having to sort of arrest this person, and question them as it went along. Yeah. But in the end, Richard Valieres, a accused ringleader, sentenced in April 2017 to 8 years in prison, plus $9.4 million in Canadian as a fine.
They didn't really get anyone with their caught red-handed. It was just more trying to prove it's you.
Nope, it was all gone by the time they got there.
The massive amount of maple syrup was gone. That's amazing on it by itself. To be fair, they managed to move.
Yeah, but of course they did manage to distinctly prove it that this guy was the guy responsible, because it was Richard Valieres' but details who was on the rental. So we then have Raymond Valieres, the father of Richard, who was convicted of possession of maple syrup.
What?
He was convicted of possession of maple syrup. Well, that's stolen maple syrup. But I think it's way funnier. Yeah. Excuse me, sir. We're going to have to bring you in. We're the RCMP because you're in possession of maple syrup, eh? And we have some pancakes. We'd quite like some of that maple syrup on our pancakes.
And if they had like hallucinogenic maple syrup as well. Everything over there. In 100 years, every kind of drug is just maple. It's got a maple syrup variant because it's just never gone away the love for maple syrup, and they just start incorporating it into everything.
Do you know about Mad Honey?
No, but I want to.
Right, so Mad Honey. I'm not sure. I think it's from a plant of some kind, but it's like a slightly trippy kind of drug you can get. And like there's a famous story of a bunch of soldiers who were like, they were trying to defend themselves, and you know, they knew this army was marching towards them, and they lined the road with lots of Mad Honey. So all of these like soldiers from different countries who didn't know what Mad Honey was were just going, oh, look at this delicious honey everywhere, let's just eat this, we'll pour it on this, we'll eat it on that. And by the time they actually got to the fight, sorry,
that's what you do on the way to a battle. Oh, there's honey there, let's make it into a sandwich, then we'll
but that's the thing. It's not quite as simple, because they're like marching for months on end, and it's like, you know, oh, we've got to add this to our food and all this kind of stuff. But by the time they get to the actual fight, they are so fucked up on Mad Honey that they are completely incapable of doing anything at all. The effect is supposedly a bit like being high and a little bit like being drunk, but mostly drunk, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I like. Never tried it myself, but it is technically a toxin, so
Doesn't sound that
maybe
great
not the
anyway.
healthiest thing. Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't sound fantastic. I'd much rather just smoke a joint.
Yeah, and then just drink some. I don't even like drinking that much because I had a drink here, and it's just the afterness is just not worth it a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Unless you're having a particularly fun night doing something, and then sometimes it's worth it.
Yeah, but even then, the following day being a write-off pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because I like to get shit done, and it's like, oh man, I can't do anything today. I just have to go. I'm gonna lie down for a long period of time and hope it goes away.
Yeah, I mean the headache is if you can do it without a head, if you can not have a headache the next day and you got nothing to do, then it's like kind of chill sometimes. You particularly got nothing to do.
Yeah, there's something you can get in America. I'm not sure if you can get it here. It's called L-cysteine. And it's like it's an amino acids like thing that you add to a glass, and it literally turns off hangovers because it's got all of the things that your body loses from a hangover and being drunk, and it just replenishes them overnight.
I bet that would be expensive. You know, like a shot of that.
It's not. I don't think it's cheap. I don't think it's cheap at all.
So the IV things you can get as well.
Yeah, but that's way too far. Like, who the fuck wants to go with a fucking IV? Nah, man. Not for me.
Injecting yourself with stuff just doesn't seem like the thing to do normally.
Yeah, like that was always my line. It's like, I'm never going to inject anything. You know, whether it be some form of hyper crack or heroin or whatever it is, I'm sure it's fucking lovely, but I'm not doing it.
And that is why Nathan doesn't believe in the vaccines.
Shit.
You heard about that?
Yeah.
I'm sure you have, like all the other countries saying, you know, like,
oh god,
that
yeah.
it was all these different things. Like, I don't know what's happened about it recently because the people I've heard, it's all the people that, funny enough, can make money from their own one. The people in their own countries bought their one, for example, or stuff like that.
Yeah, actually, I'll tell you what. I'll finish this off and then I'll go straight into that because I've got a lot to say on that. So we've got Avik Caron was the insider whose spouse owned the FPAC warehouse, sentenced to 5 years in prison plus a 1.2 million fine. That's right, it was someone right at the top as usual. And Sebastian Jutras, the man we've already talked about, a trucker involved in the transport of stolen syrup, served 8 months in prison. In total, it, as I say, was the most expensive robbery in Canadian history. It was one of the biggest investigations in Canadian history, and it's still talked about to this day and is still a matter of contention due to FPAC. It is the most Canadian story that has ever fucking happened. And yeah, it's like people are still complaining about FPAC to this day because they are kind of fucking shitty.
Yeah, it just sounds like a government. It's like a mixture between a government and a business, essentially, like forcing you to do it. But it doesn't surprise me.
It's a Maple cartel. Yeah.
Yeah, literally what we said at the beginning, the Maple Syrup Mafia, it really is. Like, it really is. Yeah.
Straight up, yeah.
But the fact that they did that and just the logistics of it as well, though. I mean, ignoring the stupidity of some of the stuff they did, some of that stuff was really stupid.
And the thing is, as well, they were so close. Like, if you weren't scraping the barrels, you could have got it out. If you'd kept filling the water into them afterwards, you could have kept it going. But these fuckers got greedy and lazy. You know what I mean? And it's like,
even with the scrapes on the barrels, I think there's a chance they wouldn't have checked them still if the barrels were full. They seemed fine anyway. Would they have really gone through the effort of going inside? But then again, it was an inspection, though, like you said.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, even just assume, like that you know the barrels are going to get scraped and stuff like that. Don't you replace the barrel?
Well, they're sealing however many barrels. Like, wouldn't they need replacements?
Yeah, but
a lot, because you said there was like.
But those barrels are what, $20 a piece, something like that, maybe more, probably a fair bit more, maybe $50. But like the amount of maple syrup inside them is worth thousands.
You reckon? Well, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, think about how much a jar or a bottle of maple syrup is. It's like £5 for a small bottle, and you're talking about an 80-gallon drum.
But then they've got to find the exact same barrels as well, though. Exact same colours, that same make. It might be like specifically ones that only give it that F-pack.
F-pack. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I didn't think of that. Yeah, but regardless, there's smarter ways of doing it than the way they did it. Which
much smarter ways. I was thinking another way you could do it was like fill it up with water, and then it doesn't change. Like the barrels on the side, you still get that. But then, like say you put like you made like a tiny thing that you put in the top, so that it was like the barrel's like this big, like the top bit like that or something is filled with leftover maple syrup. So if they opened it and looked in, took a finger in, whatever, there's still maple syrup at the top.
Yeah.
That might work a little bit if you can.
That's actually that. Yeah, that's not terrible. That.
That's just place.
But well, to be honest, they wouldn't have been caught if they just didn't put their fucking name on the fucking rental.
Yeah.
What is it with people? Anyway.
But yeah, they got caught because of that.
Paperwork, man. It's always the paperwork. It's how they got fucking what's his face? That famous Al Capone. They got Al Capone on tax evasion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the fucking paperwork. Yeah.
But I suppose that's one that's harder to hide, I suppose, which is weird anyway. Tax evasion is literally them saying, putting you to jail because you're not giving them the money they think you should give them. It's kind of weird when you really think about it.
The weirdest part is as well that a man who was able to, twist his way around every court in the law, get past every form of justice, couldn't make his taxes work? Are you fucking kidding me? How fucking weird are taxes?
And it was probably just the fact as well, I'm assuming. He just didn't want to pay them. But it's like, if you're getting that much money, I mean, ignoring the fact of how you get it, but whatever you're doing, you're going to get shit for it. You still get, like we said earlier, you're still going to get money in the end anyway. It's not just easy to just pay them.
And that's the thing. Once they had the tax evasion, once they had any idea at all that he was like, ooh, he's not paying his full whack, then they just got access to all of your accounts and they can go, that's illegal, that's illegal, that's illegal, that's illegal, that's illegal.
Like, they give a lot of power to the tax man.
Yeah, just pay more. If anything, Al Capone, pay more.
Good, enough to be back him. That'd be good.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of stupid fucking bureaucracy, the thing we were just about to talk about.
No.
Fucking what with the vaccines now? Mate, seriously. I voted Remain. I wanted to be part of the European Union. They are making me not want to fucking do that anymore. Yeah. What are you fucking doing?
I didn't even think about that because I was Remain too. And
yeah. And it's such a dick move. It's making me go, I'm almost glad we're out. And I shouldn't be in that scenario. What are they fucking doing?
I don't put it past any government, any leader, anyone to do something like that.
No.
You know what I mean?
But apparently it's not even working for them. Even Europeans are finding it a shitty thing to do. Even Europeans are like, excuse me, do you mind sorting out our fucking vaccine issue? Not theirs. They're fine. We're not. Can you fix that? Like,
because they're focusing on trying to say ours is wrong, but yet they haven't got a good one themselves, maybe.
Yeah, they haven't got anything else to reply. And also, like,
they're not actually got anything to replace it with.
No, not really. They've got ones, but they don't have enough of them. And also, they had a huge stockpile in a warehouse that the company went, well, if you're not having them, we'll sell them to someone else. And like, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't sell them to anyone else. Well, what are we supposed to do then?
So it literally, just sound like that they're trying to stop everyone from buying the AstraZeneca one, so they can give themselves a bit more time to get people to buy theirs when they've got more or whatever, or
basically
trying to make themselves look better.
Yeah, and it doesn't work. All it has done is made them look like they're selfish pricks, and I really never wanted to be on that side of the fucking issue, but they've made it happen.
I'd like to be interested. I'd find it interesting to see how it's looked at from people in their country, because a lot of the time, I don't know if you've noticed this, like the way just America, even you see Americans talking about something, and the same when they're talking about us, and then you look at how it's like talked about on our side or on their side or whatever. You look at how it's actually like over there, and it's talked about in an entirely different way. It's put across an entirely different way. So are the people in those countries thinking, "Oh, what the fuck are you doing, Mr. President?" They probably are, actually. Because no one
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think so. And the thing is, as I say, like there are Europeans that see through that bullshit, and there's Americans who see through the bullshit when it was Trump in power and all that kind of stuff. And there's a certain degree of bullshit with Biden in power. This is the problem. It's like I was having a conversation earlier on with my dad. And I do love my dad, I really do. And but his opinion is, this is sort of the way the world is, and there's not much you can do to fix it, which is sort of true. But at the same time, it's it's a bit defeatist.
Yeah, but it's true.
It's true. But But
you
the thing is,
something about everything. You might be able to do
no, you can't.
About one thing.
That's it. That's the point I'm making. It's like you got to pick your battles.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's a matter of what battles you want to pick. I still haven't decided.
Yeah. I mean, even saying that though, like we do like this, and like say when we're doing the conspiracy stuff, we're saying about basically most of the time how dumb people are for believing these things. But no matter what, and all the other people that have done it, there's been loads of people that are like, they looked at as professional skeptics that disprove everything. You couldn't do anything to stop people from believing these things, and they shouldn't. They should still, but at the same time, I suppose that kind of leads into the other thing, because a lot of the times, like, you couldn't do anything to stop a lot of these things anyway, because what could you really put in place? So I think a lot of the time with a lot of these things, they try and say, like, they want to do something. We're going to do this next by this year. What can you really put in place to do that, though? It's a lot of things like that.
Yeah, especially at the moment. It's
well, ignoring right now, but I'm trying to think of some like, more specific examples, because I know this is something I say a lot of the time. Like, I don't know, none are coming to me right now. Specific examples for that.
I think I know what you mean. I know.
Yeah, the logistics of it all the time is just like, just little things like even getting, like, I think that we was like when they talk about having to do things, to stop kids from buying tobacco. It's like, well, you've already got something in place for that. Why do you need to do this next? It's not exactly sounds what I was just saying, but
yeah, no, I know what you mean.
How are you logistically going to do that, really, without just telling the people to just do it? Like, a lot of time people want to do, but I don't see what. There's not a quick fix most of the time. I don't know what
there's
that
not
would
a quick
look
fix for. There's not a quick fix for anything. Again, this is the problem with the vast majority of people: is they think the world is black and white, and it never is.
Yeah, that is very true, actually. Yeah,
and it's like the thing with with marijuana or weed laws and stuff like that. Everyone's like, oh, but it's this and that, and it's the governments don't want to do it, and it's like, just stop muddying the issue. That's
you know what? That's one thing that I don't get why they don't legalize it. The government, if that's what you meant, I don't understand the logic
they absolutely should. And again, that's what I mean. It's like that. People want it to be black and white. It's like, is weed good or is weed bad? Well, it's both.
Yeah.
It's both. It's the same thing as alcohol. It's both.
Same thing as, like, literally, you could say that about anything, couldn't you? Chocolate.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It's like everyone goes, oh, but our society will change, and this will happen, and it will. So what? Change is fine, man.
Oh,
change
if we
is
start
fine.
smoking, then it'll.
Yeah, change is, but it doesn't matter. It's not like the world's going to become completely different. And also, again, it's this thing of like, oh no, you can't do that because I don't like it. Well, that's your fucking big deal, bro. That's got nothing to do with me. I'm not telling you to go out there and fucking smoke it. If you don't want to fucking smoke it, don't fucking smoke it.
I think everyone should give it a go. But yeah,
give it a try. It's good stuff. Yeah.
But we're not forcing you.
No. But that's the thing is, again, is weed perfectly good for people? No, it's probably going to fuck your lungs up a bit because you're smoking something. It's not necessarily as bad as tobacco, but it's not going to be great for you.
It's not as bad as tobacco, but then at the same time, over here in Britain, it's a lot more normal to use tobacco in it, isn't it?
Yeah, which I can't stand it personally. I'd much rather go pure.
Oh, you do pure, do you?
Yeah, but I only do like itty bitty tiny ones. I don't do like full length ones because you just end up fucking nuked.
I don't smoke fags generally, but do you smoke? Do you normally smoke, or do you smoke sometimes?
No, I quit smoking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the reason why I stopped using the tobacco mostly. It's just because you just don't want to fucking deal with it.
I see. I was very lucky when it came to that because I smoked fags for a while and bud, and I wanted to stop smoking fags, but I never planning to stop smoking bud. I've gone through detoxes and gone through I think a year was the longest one I did when I did smoke bud for. But back and any time when it came to stopping that, I never had an issue with it. I find that very easy not to smoke fags.
That's weird.
I find that very easy, the physical side of it. I'm uber doobly when it comes to being mentally addicted to stuff. I am terrible. I have a mental, what is this? A mental, addictive personality. That's what
personality. Yeah.
I have an addictive personality.
Yeah. And you will attach that to anything. Yeah.
It can be. Do.
Yeah. That's what I do. Yeah, I tend to do that shit too. At the moment, the two main addictions are, well, weed and work. Weirdly.
I mean, I suppose I could argue that myself. Just work is just stuff and all that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm counting. Like, it's not actual work because that shit sucks ass. I'd much rather do this, which is more fun work. This is the cool work. Yeah.
I've agreed to go back and do some work because I can't go back and work in a call center and do the office stuff. I just can't do it. It kills my mental health. I can't do it. Shit. Not just having all of it around me and just having too much stuff going on all around me. Just the fakeness of all of them. They're all so fake. Everyone editing themselves all the time. I can't deal with that.
No, I can't.
Ugh.
Yeah, and the office politics shit I can't deal with. Fucking the customer service, forward face customer service. Customer's always right. You got to be this. You got to be upselling. Fuck your upsell. I'm not upselling. I'm not upselling to someone. I don't need to fucking ask them if they want a fucking. I used to work in millets. You know, millets or blacks. Sorry,
it sounds familiar. I can't picture what it is now, but it sounds familiar.
It's the outdoors place. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Boots and tents and things like that. And I've worked there for.
Put him in the pharmacist then. You said the outdoor place, like boots.
Yeah. No, Blacks. The place's name is Blacks, which makes it sound very racist. But I was working there, and they kept on saying, you got to upsell, you got to upsell, you got to upsell. It's like you're sitting behind the tills, they bring over some boots, you've got to ask them if they want some Kendall mint cake. No one wants Kendall mint cake. Fuck off.
That does not sound like something I would ever want.
It's really sugary peppermint in dark chocolate, and it's basically used as a survival thing. It is incredibly high calories, and it's going to keep you alive.
I just remembered, I just remembered, you in a fucking camping place. So
yeah,
it's not going to be some nice cake either. Okay.
No, it's awful shit. And every time it was, you got to upsell, you got to upsell, you got to upsell. No, I don't have to make more money for you. I'm already here. You've already got my time. This customer wants this item. That's what I'm going to give them. Fuck off.
Yeah, I never had to do as much like face-to-face stuff. Luckily, I was more on the phones for. Although I'm going back to doing face-to-face stuff again because I'll be going back to the bookies, but I'm only doing like a day or 2 days. I think is how it works. Right. But I get to be the boss though. So when people walk, I've already told him, like when people walk in not wearing a mask, it may be company policy that we can't tell them I'm not serving you or get the fuck out. It's not company policy apparently. But as a human, I can say I am not fucking serving you.
I'm serving
Get
you.
the fuck out.
Yeah, I've had to do similar things at my work. Unfortunately, it's yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like. I am in no way gonna change that. Like, and if I get moaned at by the job for it, no, fuck. No,
yeah.
You should be moaning at them. Why are you telling us? Like, you should be protecting your customers. Your
goddamn right.
It's just dumb.
Goddamn right. And it's like, you know, I've had the thing where it's like, oh yeah, but some people have been vaccinated and they don't feel they should have to wear them anymore. That's not what the rules are, and that's not what the medical advice is. So fuck off.
It's really stupid. It's like, what? So if you were walking into a fire and I don't know, 80% of your body was covered in completely flame retardant stuff that would stop you getting hot or anything at all, you still going to walk through that fire? Because 20% of you is exposed to clarify.
Yeah, and it's not great.
No.
Especially if it's your tackle.
It could easily be 20%. That's a lot, you know.
No one wants a roasted dick.
Some people might, if you can think of it, there's a fetish out there for it.
Yeah, there's definitely someone out there who orders animal dick and balls as a regular meal.
Oh fucking hell! Did I tell you about the shop that I went to by here, and they moaned at me because I went. Sorry, I say that I went to like I used to go there all the time. The shop by me, one of them. And this was like during the pandemic, and I went in a few times and they had nothing up, and I just said to them a few times, like, "You're not going to think about wearing a mask or put anything up or anything," because he wasn't wearing a mask himself. And then I asked him a few times, and the one time he was just like, "Oh no, I'm not going to do that. I'm a rebel, you know. I'm going to wait until someone tells me to come and put it up. Someone makes me." And I was like, "You're going to wait until someone makes you?" Because I insulted him a little bit, and I was like, "Okay." So, like a couple of days later, I went out my way to find out who to tell. I went out my way to make sure my mum knew, like a policeman, for example. And they went and they told him, like, "You put something
the fucking thing up,
or you're getting a £10,000 fine." And the next day he saw me, he tried to have a go at me outside. It was fun for me. It was a lot of fun. I tried to ignore it, and then he tried to call me racist because of it, and I let loose. I got the trigger.
It's got nothing to do with race. It's because you are putting people in danger, you fucking cunt.
I specifically made sure I was loud enough so that all the people in his shop, because he was outside the shop, I made sure they could hear everything.
Yeah. God, man.
I have learned that Subway, if you ever want to get a good mask for free as well, Subway give away their masks. They got a little logo on and everything, and they have like ties on it, like little loop things, so you can change how
how tight it is.
How tight it is. Yeah. And it's just perfectly like metal bit there. It's really thick material. It's nice. It has a little bit extra that comes over your chin, covers up your chin hair, so they can't tell that you're manly. But that's nice. Yeah,
I respect that. That's good. I like that.
I was about to say I've decided as well. I like it like that. Yeah,
it's good, isn't it? Yeah.
I think you need the rest of you need the rest of your facial hair to come back, because right now you're just rocking the mustache. But you know,
I do look. It's a bit of the Tom Selleck, which is
but that will change in time, I'm sure.
Yeah. Magnum PI is not my look. In fact, to be honest, I look a little bit more like Father from Super Troopers, which isn't great.
I think I know what you mean. You look a bit like Joey Ryan as well, this wrestler who's kind of been excommunicated a little bit from the wrestling world. Which is, I'll quickly tell you the story. Shocking thing. This wrestler, whose gimmick was, he was like 33 or something, maybe mid-30s. His gimmick was that he had a penis of steel. People would grab his penis and he would be like, and
I've seen it, and he flips someone over and shit. Yeah, that was fucking amazing, that dude.
It's fucking great. And they, this one show, they did a big like indie giant show thing where AEW came from, and he was apparently died in this web series they have, and they resurrected him during this. And you know, like Undertaker had like a load of druids coming out and stuff.
Yeah,
he had a load of penis druids, giant penises. Walking out to that kind of music.
I fucking love it. I love it when wrestling doesn't take itself too seriously. Like they in Japan, they've got that wrestler that is literally just a doll.
He's not a wrestler.
No, but they just throw a doll about and end up having fights with it and getting locked down, and they get tapped out by the doll. It's like, what the fuck is this shit?
See, as a lover of wrestling, that's too far.
Yeah.
No, what?
I just find it so fucking funny that Japan basically just doesn't give a shit about realism anymore.
Really don't. Another thing, Joshi, they haven't for ages. There's this other thing that they've done like back in the 80s and stuff, and it's come back now. Joshi Apartment Wrestling. Which is Joshi is like the smaller women wrestlers. I think it's generally the smaller. It might just be women wrestlers in general.
Right.
Apartment wrestling, not what it sounds like. It's not porn. It's literally, I know, I thought that. Literally an apartment. Just imagine when you were young, if you were going to deck it like a front room, mate, you know, get all the covers down so you make it a bit soft to slam on and that, you know. And they had like a curtain set up for the entranceway with the door taken off, you know.
Yeah.
But that's a real thing that they're
producing. That's literally it.
Yeah. But they're producing it like through one of the bigger Japanese wrestling companies. Yeah.
Japan, man. Japan can do anything they fucking want. Oh, wow.
I mean, they are the originators of the barbed wire exploding deathmatch.
That was so embarrassing.
It was amazing. But I think we've come to the end of this episode anyway then.
I think we probably have. Yeah, it's I'm running low on whiskey, and
you're drinking the same one.
Yeah, the Slane's pretty good. That smooth Irish bastard.
Well, just the last little plug then for anyone. No, the last little plug then. Next week, this is a picture from last week's one that went on 2 days ago when you'll be watching this. But Kd's Comedian Quiz Off will be coming back for episode 29 this Wednesday coming. That will be the road to 30. The road to 30, Nathan. We're almost there. We're almost there. We're plodding along.
And that means does that count as your podcast being 30 as well then at that stage? I know it's not years but episodes, but it feels similar. You know what I mean?
It feels like it basically is. Yeah. Oh, me being 30, yeah, okay.
Yeah. You got it.
But yeah. But it is actually 30, yeah.
Get used to it.
I like being well, I need to. I'm not going down. To be fair.
Yeah, but the thing is, I thought I was fine with it for a bit, and then after about 6 months of being like 30, then I suddenly realised one day, wow, yeah, I'm 30. I'm supposed to be an adult now.
Yeah, I feel like I had that realization over the past like year and a half. Anyway, I feel like I said this before that I feel like I had like a slight midlife crisis, realizing, you know what? I always say that I want to do this stuff. I need to do this stuff. I haven't got that much time. In 10 years, I'll be almost 40. That feels like I'll be an old man. Maybe this next decade, I need to do things.
Yeah, that was basically what got me after tearing the ACL, was like, get into comedy, do it now, do it now.
Yeah, it's just that. It's like you don't want to wait around and do stuff.
No,
but
especially at the moment again.
Yeah. But as well, that helps to make you realise it even more so afterwards. Yeah,
it really does.
The last year. But let us know then again with what you've got coming up soon, you said.
Okay, yes. So, Post-Apocalyptic Metal Treehouse is still out and about. You can get it on Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher. Did I say Spotify?
I think you did.
If not, you can also get it there. Anyway, I probably did. Episode 5 is coming out in hopefully under a month. Because I don't want to promise anything, because every other time I've promised something, it's been like 3 months. So this one is significantly closer though, and it will have the first track by MC Fake as Fuck, the amazing song "Beat My Dick."
That's great.
So it's gonna be a top quality episode. You want to catch up now while you got the opportunity. What about you, Carl? What you got going on?
Well, the quiz. Already said that.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm going to do last? There's a wrestling with comedy one coming out as well with Callum.
Yes.
I don't know what we'll be talking about yet. I think we're looking right now. What was it? Either Jim Cornette or Vince McMahon. One of them two. And then next week will be NXT. But what I was going to do now, you wouldn't have seen this yesterday. What I showed the guys the other day about when we had a certain king from a certain post-apocalyptic male treehouse on the quiz the other day. Let's quickly check that out before we finish.
Last Wednesday on Kd's Comedian Quiz-Off.
He is all the way from the post-apocalyptic metal treehouse itself. Please welcome His Royal Majesty, King Leopold Bucket IV, I believe.
Barry, are you sure this is porn? Because I wanted porn. This doesn't look like porn, Barry. What the hell am I doing here? What's the plan? Well, I'm King Leopold Bucket IV, the bucket-wearing king with the bucket-shaped bling. And I run a little sketch show called Post-Apocalyptic Metal Treehouse with my friend Barry, who doesn't know where to find porn, Barry. There's no use showing me yours. I don't want to see it. So, basically, I do this sketch show. It's fairly fun. You know, you can listen to it if you want. Someone thinks he writes it. But in reality, I'm piping all of the ideas into his head via a magical ray.
Leopold Bucket IV.
Hello, people.
I'm drawing King Leopold Bucket. Thank you very much.
I know him. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm ignoring Callum because I think he's trying to outdo you, King Leopold.
Yes, I agree.
I think you ought to whip his ass.
Don't worry, I've got people on it. I use the same people as Alex, so it's going to take a while, but we're on the way.
Can I say something a minute?
They've barely got the coordination to shuffle.
I've had a stroke. I can't climb up tree houses. What the fuck? Think about me. I don't want to get got by the zombies.
Yeah, it's not.
Get yourself a bucket. Then they can't bite you.
Get yourself a bucket.
Get yourself a bucket. Oh man,
amazing.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
That was a lot of fun.
That was so cool.
It's nice to know where the ideas come from as well. I wasn't entirely sure whether it was the mind ray, but I had my suspicions. There's like burnt patches in the ceiling every night, so
makes sense. Yeah. So you're looking at that. You're finding out all this inside knowledge you shouldn't know, really.
Yeah, I didn't even know about it, mate. I know. Yeah. My whole world has become shattered. It's like I'm in the Truman Show.
Yeah, the Truman Show, totally. Let's finish this up anyway then. So episode 2 Wrestling Comedy coming soon. This is episode 22 now. We should maybe do no, actually, I forget what I was about to say. Episode 23 is my number. I love 23, so that'll be 23 next time then.
Okay.
And Post-Apocalyptic Metal Treehouse coming out, episode 5 again soon, but every episode available now wherever you find your podcasts. And on YouTube. Yeah.
Including a fantastic episode with Jason Statham.
Oh, yes. Jason Statham. I love him, I do. I've got to do a round at some point on the quiz where it's me doing terrible accents. I've got to do it. But it'll come across racist. I think I said it because it's racist.
Well, yeah. It depends. I still maintain it is possible to do. Oh dear.
We'll do that.
Right. Okay.
Recording.
Yeah. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, see you next time.